Hey, what's up YouTube? My name's Alex, and in this video, I'm gonna be giving you a full breakdown, a complete tutorial of how you can make $1,000 profit every single month in just 1 hour per day. So I know it sounds a little bit too good to be true maybe, but I'm gonna run you through everything in this video. So I made last year approximately $170,000 sports betting, but I was definitely betting more than an hour per day. However, I know what it's like to have limited time and also want to make money sports betting. I started sports betting when I was in college, and then also when I had a job. I had a full-time job. I was a trader on Wall Street, so financial markets would close at 4, and then I would get home from work, and then I would start betting in sports betting markets, right? I would start betting on sports. So I know what it's like to have limited time, and in this video, I'm gonna give you a playbook that I give to honestly all my friends who have full-time jobs and are trying to make some extra cash betting on sports. If you enjoy this type of content, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and feel free to comment any questions. So my first tip for any sports bettor with limited time, honestly any sports bettor whatsoever, is take advantage of the easy money, the low-hanging fruit, and by that I mean sportsbook promos and bonuses. So all of these sports books are commodity businesses. Caesars, FanDuel, they do the exact same thing. They take bets. So just like a restaurant giving out free appetizers to try to get customers in the door, a lot of these books run promos on either a daily or a weekly basis, and some of them are really lucrative. So I just pulled up FanDuel right now as I was recording this video, and they had a no sweat bet. So basically the way this works is you place a bet. If you lose, you get your money back in site credit. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's a promotion that you want to be taking advantage of. So when I used to get off of work, when I had my full-time job, I would rush home, and the first thing I would do, even if I only had 30 minutes to bet, is I would pull up DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, all the books I used, and I just looked and saw, hey, are there any no-brainer promos, any odds boosts, any risk-free bets that I can take advantage of? So as a very simple example, there's a book I used, it's called Sleeper, and this video is being recorded in March. I'm already up over $278 on Sleeper, and the only thing I've ever used on this book is promos. I haven't placed any normal plays outside of promos. I'm already up $278, just taking advantage of their discounts. They run discounts every single Wednesday, so I make sure to play those on Wednesday. And then occasionally around big sporting events like the Super Bowl, they'll have a protected play. So for the Super Bowl, they had a $50 protected play. You place your wager, if it loses, you get your money back. That's a no-brainer. So a lot of people forget to check these books every day, and just taking advantage of the low-hanging fruit, you can usually make some pretty good money every single month. So I really want to stress, if you're new to sports betting, you can easily make $1,000 a month just betting promos and bonuses. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it adds up. If you're using FanDuel, DraftKings, Prize Picks, Sleeper, and it doesn't have to be those specific books, whatever sports books are legal in your location, you should easily be able to pull $1,000 from promos. And I can tell you that because I did it myself. When I started sports betting, I was almost exclusively betting promos, odds boosts, risk-free bets, stuff like that, and I easily made $1,000 a month. I just wasn't lazy. I was consistent. I would get home from work, spend an hour going through each of the sports books and betting all of the no-brainer promos. It adds up. So I'll give you a simple example. One very popular gambling platform is Prize Picks. So every single Friday, Prize Picks runs a promo. It's called Flex Friday. And basically it means your first flex play, your first play on Prize Picks of the day is insured up to $20. If you lose, you get your money back. So there's 4 weeks in a month. So that means $80, you get it every week, 4 weeks in a month, $80 in protected plays on Prize Picks every single month. Also, every Tuesday, Prize Picks runs a different promo called Taco Tuesday, where they discount players' lines. Some other random days they'll throw in a discount as well. So it's about 4 discounts a week, about 16 discounts a month on Prize Picks, and all that stuff builds up. That's only one book that we're talking about. So if we actually go back to the Sleeper play as an example, they're discounting D'Angelo Russell, his points line, from 17.5 to 13.5. So you may think, who really cares? That's only 4 points. How's that gonna make me $1,000 a month? But Sleeper typically runs 3 of these discounts every single week, so about 12 a month. And a discount from 17.5 to 13.5 is actually pretty impactful. So if you look at FanDuel, they have alternate player points lines up. You'll see they have D'Angelo Russell over 13.5 points at -400 odds. So -400 means it's a 4-to-1 betting favorite, 4-to-1 betting favorite, or 80% to win. And a -136 favorite means 57% to win. So that's a 23% discount, right? They're slashing the line by 4 points. So you're getting a 23% increase in your win probability by taking this promo. So obviously I only covered 2 books. There's hundreds of sports books, hundreds of gambling platforms in the US. All I told you about was Sleeper. They have some protected plays. They also run some discounts. Same thing with Prize Picks. Those 2 books alone is probably at least $250 in easy money every single week. What I recommend doing, I know it sounds a little crazy, a little degenerate, but set a calendar reminder. Every single Tuesday, Prize Picks is running these discounts, so just set a calendar reminder so every Tuesday you remember to take advantage of them, because that's the easiest money you'll ever make on Prize Picks. So let's say you don't care at all about promos, although I promise you that's the easiest way to make $1,000 per month sports betting. But aside from promos, there's of course ways that you can make money betting on sports, but one thing you have to consider is, when are you free? Right? If you're free at 8 a.m., there's not going to be any NBA games going on, so a live betting strategy, that's not going to apply to you. But what I will say is, instead of thinking about it as 1 hour per day, maybe you can think about it as 7 hours per week, right? If there's a day where there's only 1 NBA game, there's probably not going to be a lot of profitable betting opportunities. Whereas if the following day there's 12 NBA games, maybe spend a bit more time that day, there's going to be a lot of value in the market, a lot of profitable betting opportunities. There's a lot of people who think you should place a fixed number of bets per day, but that's completely not the case. If it's July and there's only baseball going on, I may only have 2 bets in a given day. Whereas if it's December and college football, NFL, everything's in full swing, I may have 50 bets with value, with an edge that I've placed in a given day. It all depends on what value is available in the market. So long story short, ideally, if you only have 1 hour per day, you can kind of time that and, use your free time for betting on days where there's more sports, because that means there's going to be more profitable betting opportunities. So let's ignore promos. Let's say screw promos. Outside of promos, what would it take to make $1,000 profit sports betting every single month? And it's honestly pretty simple. You just have to think about your ROI. So we'll get to some strategies here in a bit on how can you actually get a positive ROI sports betting. What are strategies that you can use to beat the books long term? But let's just say, for the sake of example, your ROI is 3.5% and your goal is to make $1,000 a month. So if you have a 3.5% ROI to make $1,000 in a month, that means you have to bet 28.5K total over the course of that month, or approximately $950 a day. You have to remember, the power of sports betting is, in general, you're betting on games that are that day, right? When we're betting on the NBA, we're not betting on games that are a week from now, we're betting on games that day. So if you have a 2% ROI on your NBA bets every day, that compounds to 60% over the course of a month, assuming you're betting every day. And really, the power of sports betting, you should never be paying for picks. That's absolute BS. Please save yourself money. Never pay a handicapper for picks. That's absolute BS. The core of sports betting is finding value in the market. So every sportsbook sets their own odds, right? So when I wake up in a given day, I don't say, hey, I want to bet on LeBron James. I want to bet on Ohtani. That's not how sports betting works. You have to see, where are the good bets in the market? Where is there value? So I'll give you a simple example. This is a play I ended up locking in, is Kuminga under 5.5 rebounds. And I bet this on Flip at -115. So what's crazy is, if you look at every other sports book, Flip actually has the over favored. They have the over as a -135 favorite. They have the under at -115. Every other book has the under as a big favorite. All sports books set their own odds. So this was a bet with really good value on Flip that I ended up locking in. And this strategy is called positive EV betting. It's finding discrepancies in the market. And even if you only use Flip and you don't use those other sports books are data points. They're sources of information that help you identify profitable bets on Flip. So now we can get into some different strategies for making $1,000 a month sports betting, completely ignoring promos. So I explained earlier, if you have a 3.5% ROI, that means you need to be betting $950 every single day to make $1,000 a month sports betting. So the first thing you need to consider is, when are you gonna be betting in a given day? When do you have an hour to dedicate to sports betting? If you're betting really late at night, let's say after your kids go to bed, you're betting at midnight, you're probably going to be looking at early lines for tomorrow. All the games are gonna be over. Whereas if you're betting at, let's say, 8 p.m., there may be a lot of NBA games going on and you can implement a live betting strategy. However, if you have 1 hour where you can pick, 1 hour every single day, you can pick which time you start betting, I'd recommend 6 p.m. Eastern time. I know it's pretty specific, but right before the games start, you see a lot of line movements. Starting lineups are coming out, injury reports are coming out, and there's usually a lot of discrepancies in the sports betting market. A lot of value presents itself around 6 p.m. So if you were to pick one specific hour to dedicate to sports betting, I'd recommend like 6 to 7 p.m. at night. But if you're stuck with, 8 p.m., whatever, it doesn't really matter. You can, of course, still make money sports betting. Regardless, let's say you want to have a positive ROI sports betting, 3.5%, and you're gonna be betting $950 a day to reach $1,000 of profit every single month. What are some strategies you can implement? So we have so many strategy videos on the OddsJam YouTube, but I'll go through a few. So the first strategy we discussed is a little bit higher risk. So you're gonna have winning days, you're gonna have losing days, and it's called positive EV betting. Just like that play I showed earlier on Kuminga, where every sportsbook has the under as a big favorite around like -145 odds, you can get an outlier in the market on Flip at -115. You're getting a great price on Flip. Flip is stale, offering his under at -115 when the rest of the market has it around -140, -145. So you just bet on Kuminga's under 5.5 rebounds at -115. That is a positive EV bet. You're taking advantage of market discrepancies. And again, the price you're getting, the odds you're getting really matters, right? Placing this bet at -115 on Flip is a great bet. It's a profitable bet long term. Whereas placing this bet at -160 on Caesars would be a horrible idea. It's just like if you're an investor or a day trader, you may like buying a stock at $115, but you don't want to buy it at $160. So you always should be getting value in the market, be getting the best possible odds on all of your wagers. So positive EV betting is a strategy you can use to make money. You're gonna have ups and downs. It's kind of like being an investor, forming your own little hedge fund. You're taking advantage of market discrepancies to lock in plays with an edge, but you're still gonna have winning days and losing days. I always tell my friends who start out positive EV betting, it's kind of like flipping a coin that's 53% to show up on heads. You may not notice over the course of 10 coin flips that coin is more likely or weighted to show up on heads, but over the course of the long run, it's of course gonna show up on heads more often. And that's essentially the strategy of positive EV betting. You're not gonna win every bet, but you will win long term. However, if you're looking for a bit lower risk betting strategies, I recommend arbitrage and middle betting. Arbitrage and middle betting. And again, we have full length dedicated videos on the OddsJam YouTube that break down arbitrage as well as middle betting, but these are lower risk betting strategies. So middle betting, and OddsJam has a tool to identify middle bets. Middle betting is essentially when two books have such different lines from one another that you can bet equal and opposite outcomes, the over on one book, the under on a different book, to lock in what's called a middle. So a simple example is, let's just say Prize Picks has Anthony Edwards, his points line, at 26.5 points. Underdog Fantasy, they're way different. They have his line at 32.5 points. So there's this big discrepancy in the market. Prize Picks has Edwards at 26.5 points, underdogs at 32.5. What should you do? Well, what you could do is you could bet the over on Prize Picks for $100, the under on underdog for $100, and then one bet is always gonna win. Edwards will always go over 26.5 or under 32.5, but if he falls in that narrow range, 27 to 32, then you're gonna win both bets. So middle betting is when you're taking advantage of discrepancies in where books are setting their line. So you can also do this live if your hour of sports betting per day is while games are going on. You can often find really good middle bets live during games. Books have a really hard time setting totals, setting spreads, and there's oftentimes really great middle betting opportunities available. So the next strategy is arbitrage, and this is literally a risk-free form of sports betting. This is actually how I made my first $40,000 sports betting. And arbitrage is when two sports books have such different odds. I know it sounds crazy, a little too good to be true, but this is literally how I made my first 40 grand sports betting. When two sports books have such different odds, they're so out of sync because all books set their own odds that you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, equal and opposite outcomes to make a risk-free profit. So you can bet equal and opposite outcomes to lock in a risk-free return. One bet will always win, one will lose, but you'll make a small risk-free return. So that's called arbitrage betting. It's a great strategy. Even if you personally don't arbitrage bet, it's a great way to learn about sharp betting strategies because a lot of the pro sports bettors, sharp sports bettors, syndicates, full-time sports betting companies, they're using arbitrage betting. But regardless, I'm not gonna break down every strategy with a ton of examples because again, we have full-length dedicated videos on the OddsJam YouTube breaking down all these strategies. Regardless, I really hope you enjoyed this video. My goal is there's so much crap in the sports betting industry, so much horrible content. My goal is to help you learn how to beat the sports books long term. I love sports betting. I love making money off these greedy sports books. So if you have any questions, comment them below. And please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And again, please reach out with any questions. Thanks so much for your time.